Hey there, guys. How are you? Hope everybody's doing great. Can't really complain, I suppose. This morning, I spent the morning going over the Amius Hard fight so that you don't have to. Yes, so I looked at all the champs that were available, for me at least, figured something out, brought this guy down, and now I will share this incredibly amazing I'm using bunny quotes, but you can't really tell, source, wealth of information with you. So, okay, honestly, I don't think I've beaten this one before. It didn't feel that familiar to me. I don't remember using Lydia in the past before. So this is just the team I used. There are some incredibly solid buffs and debuffs here. I do have Mithrala in the lead, which obviously, I mean, immediately this is like a fight that you need 500 accuracy for. So immediately plus 80 accuracy aura is an easy bet for most teams. If you're not using Mithrala, Venomage has a tinier accuracy aura. But since I've got Mithrala, let's go with that. Then let's just move right on to Venomage. Really, really good debuffs. Poisons, the heal reduction is actually the thing that I most want here. That's super, super critical, massive ability that was integral to my fight. You've got other really nice to have things: decrease defense, decrease attack. So super, super solid champ. I think I've used Venomage between normal and hard maybe like 3 times by now on various rotations and difficulties and things. So super, super useful champ. There's Pythion, really good champ. Cleanse, a little bit of healing. Your team takes less damage just because he like exists on the team. So really good. Look at his passive. Super, super strong champion. Revive, obviously strengthen on the revive. So very strong here. This is also a really critical champ. It's White Dryad Nia. She's got Ally Protect, so we're going to kind of split up some of the damage being taken, which is particularly helpful during the Ignore Defense ability. In the Eclipse form, you've also got a heal, little bit of cooldown reset. You have to be careful with that one, obviously, because this man does not like it when you cooldown reset. That upsets him in both forms, so be a little careful with that, but we'll talk about it. And then Lydia, I do have multiple poisoners here, so she does have poison sensitivity. She has black buffs, although, then you never get to use that in this fight because he'll just turn it into black debuffs. And then the Eclipse buff is like completely unblockable. So yeah, she does have the Black Revive passive, which I was very surprised actually does work on Amius. I mean, theoretically, there's, if you read the description of it, there's no reason it shouldn't have worked. But I guess with this fight, just, being complete BS in general, it really wouldn't have surprised me if it didn't work. So yeah, that does actually work. She has strengthened, she has increased speed, although genuinely weaken, decrease defense. Although the strength and decreased speed or increased speed is like, I found it awkward to use because it's just a weird combo, right? Like he's gonna turn your weaken into strengthen, or he's gonna reverse the buffs on you. He's gonna turn your decreased speed into your increased speed into decreased speed. So I found it very awkward to find a good time to use it, but it is there. Maybe you'll have more luck than me. So that's kind of the general thought process of the team. I actually think these are fairly accessible champs. You've got 2 epics. You've got the Faction Wars reward. You've got Mithrala, who's very easy to get, even through extremely basic Hydra gameplay, as long as you keep up, even just doing normal for several weeks, you're going to get her. Pythion was a fusion, getting a little bit dated now, a couple years old, but he is there. Replacements, I tried this quite a bit. I could not get it to work. I think I could probably get it to work now that I know what I know, I guess. But she was one of the first champs I tried. I've seen people use Syl of the Drakes. You could probably use like multiple Venomages, multiple Nias if you're the type of person who levels multiple of the same champion. You know, I'll probably have 2 Nias for Higher Sunday, so can see that happening. I'm sure there's some some more potential here. This would have been really good, actually. I'm, you know, kind of like in the process of gearing her and everything, as you can see. But yeah, so all in all, I would say, as far as an Amius team goes, I think that's, you know, there's reasonable. There's nobody crazy here. There's no crazy. Nothing's really crazy, right? It's pretty chill. My awakenings, my gear, the champions themselves, it's doable compared to a lot of teams you tend to see out there. Okay, so here is my incredible, amazing run. It took me about 5 minutes, apparently. We'll talk about it. I'll let you know why I did what I did, because like I said, even though it's probably going to look like fairly easy when I show you it, it did take, you know, quite a bit for me to get it down, several attempts, lots of failures. You just don't see those on video. But yeah, so I'll tell you what I did, why I'm doing it, and you can see if you can apply that to your team. Okay, so first stage of the boss, we're in, you know, the fairly chill form, but the thing about this form is that you can't really use any abilities, right? Because if you know what these 2 abilities do, in this ability, he's going to decrease the duration of your buffs. He's going to decrease the duration of his debuffs. So basically, it's also like a giant heal. So really, you can't really do anything. He's just going to heal it all up anyway. And then if you were to use a heal reduction ability right here, that would be an extremely bad idea, because the second ability here, which is also an AoE stun, that's why it's nice to have a block debuffs like on Pythion. This is going to take all of his debuffs and he's going to flip them into the opposing buff. So like if you put weaken on him, it's going to go to strengthen. If you put decreased attack on him, it's going to go to increased attack. If you put block buffs on him, it's going to go to block debuffs. So basically, my team, I would recommend don't use any abilities at all if they have a reversible counterpart, because that will be just absolutely devastating for you. So let's see what I do. I'm just going to do A1 Lydia, A1 Veno, A1 Mithrala. Another thing to note here, Brimstone is such a key part of the fight. Sadly to say, it is the vast majority of my damage. It's always been that way for most of the rotations I've been able to complete. So I would say, I would assume that if you have this team, Mithrala is your Brimstone carrier. I would just say if you didn't land the Brimstone, you should just shamelessly restart it. It's so much damage. So yeah, I would restart if I didn't get it. So confession, yep. Okay, so let's keep going. Something to note, I'm going to do Pythion A1. You could do the block debuffs, but number 1, it's going to get its duration reduced. Number 2, nobody's weak, and this is also a heal. So I found that I was getting a little bit better value out of it, waiting until my team has actually taken some damage. And then this is typically the ability he leads with, so I still have time to counteract the stun with it. So there's the giant heal ability. We're getting Brimstone, some counterattacks. I just go A1. You theoretically, you could use her Ally Protect here. My team's pretty tanky, so I didn't feel like it was worth focusing the damage on her. I'm fine with all of these champions taking their own individual damage. Again, that's just something that as I was doing this, that worked better for me. You know, you're going to have to finagle it, see what's going on with your team, see what you need to do. And again, he has not used the reverse ability yet, so I'm just going to keep A1ing. I can't come out with anything else yet. Do some more poisons. Another thing, you could use the Mithrala increased defense if you want. You could have opened with that. You could have used it second, because it places Hex and there's no counterpart to Hex. Obviously, the Hex is completely useless, but if you find that you need increased defense during this part, because he does use several AoE abilities, that's completely fine. Go ahead. Just something to note. Okay, so that's the AoE stun. You can see because half my team is stunned. It is resistible, which a lot of things in this fight aren't. You can tell because my Mithrala resisted it. Like I said, I did this a million times and I know basically play by play what's going to happen. So I let him stun my team because I know Pythion's going to go first and I can heal them and cleanse them. So again, you may need to play that part differently depending on the speeds of your team. You know, you might have needed to use the black debuffs on the turn earlier because otherwise people are going to miss turns. So again, there's no shame in just going through, seeing how it's going for you, seeing what you need to do, how all of the timings are working out and everything. And then, okay, now these are the only two abilities he has in this form. This is his A1. It's an AoE attack. You'll see him use it in a second here. But now I'm completely free to use whatever buffs and debuffs I want. Actually, let me backtrack it. You can use whatever buffs you want, but something to note is that when he goes into the Eclipse form, he is going to remove all of your buffs and he's going to reverse them. So just be careful about what buffs you're using, how long they're lasting, because you really don't want to get them all reversed. So like you'll notice like I'm not really using any of mine. I'm not using the Lydia buff because yeah, I just don't want to get it all turned against me and end up taking a ton of damage when he goes into Eclipse form. So that was my strategy. Again, you do whatever you need to do, but you're basically going to see me not use any of my team's buffs. Okay, so let's see what we keep doing here. Like I said, I don't really want to put on all her buffs, so the next champion coming up is Venomage, and this is by far the champion that I had to really think and strategize about what I'm going to use and when I'm going to use it. So your immediate thought might be to use the signature Venomage ability, which is the heal reduction combined with 2 poisons. And yeah, I see your point. That's what I was leading with for quite a while when I was trying this. And then I actually, eventually, for a couple of reasons, I decided that I want to use the decrease defense, decrease attack ability first, the neurotoxin. So you'll see me use this here. And the reason being is, number one, you will save a ton of damage with the decreased attack. You will take so much less damage on the 2 AoE abilities that he's going to use. Because right now he's going to use his A1, and then this is going to last through the big AoE attack in the Eclipse form. So I found that my team overall was just taking so much less damage. It was much better and more survivable for us. And then another reason, I also found that it was smarter to wait a couple turns to use the Venomage heal reduction. Because if I do it at the perfect time, I can make it so that it lasts till the next time he uses the big heal in the next form. And I can completely prevent that from going off. So I was getting a lot of bang for my buck for it here. So you'll see kind of how that's all going to go. Who else do we have? So yeah, that's the A1. I barely took any damage from that. Like I said, decreased attack, super helpful. Okay, so here with Nia, okay, if you reduce part of his passive, if you reset the cooldown of something, he will get 1 less turn on going into his eclipse form. So you don't want to use this earlier. However, no matter what I do, he's going into Eclipse form next. So if you want to use it now, if you want to heal somebody, if you want to reset somebody's cooldowns, you can do that now. I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly, but we'll see. It's definitely an option. Like, for example, if you wanted to reset the Lydia or the Veno, or if you wanted to heal yourself, because when Nia heals herself, everybody else gets healed also. So definitely a lot of options here to do whatever you want. You can tell I'm thinking about it. I'm like, Venom? I'm like, Lydia? So I'm just going to do Lydia, I guess. I also found that Lydia was getting targeted during the ignore defense ability a lot. So I think that was kind of my rationale. But again, that might go differently for you. And then now we can place the poison sensitivity. Black buffs. Black buffs doesn't really do anything. Poison sensitivity will get a little bit more damage out of those poisons. So that's fine. And then once again, you'll notice I'm still holding off on this ability. I'm just going to try to detonate some poisons if I can with my A1. This is my, spent the morning thinking it out strategy. And again, he's going to go into the Eclipse form. Any buffs you put on right now, they're gone. Those don't exist anymore, and you really wasted the cooldown on them. So again, that's why I'm not using any buffs. And, these should expire, hopefully, before we get here. But we shall see. And maybe not. So yeah, we did get a couple buffs reversed. It's okay. It's not detrimental. Okay, Pythion. So you do have your cleanse, right? And probably your immediate reaction is going to be to just kind of get your team healed up. But I definitely recommend waiting one of his turns on it, because you have to think about both phases, right? Like you have to think further than what's happening just now. So you definitely want to save it for the next turn and make it last through his stun in the first form. So again, I did this a million times, and that's just the way I figured out that that's how it's going to have to work for me to have to survive. Again, might be different for you. But okay, so lots of stuff going on. We're in this form. Finally, I can use some funsies stuff that I was not using. In the other form, I am going to use the Nia Ally Protect, because that makes it so whoever he hits with the ignore defense ability, I can kind of split the damage with them, and hopefully they won't get one-shotted. And then this is the turn that I want to use the Venomage heal reduction, because it's going to last 3 or 4 turns, because it's 3 turns, and maybe I'll get the 4th turn from whatever the heck mastery that is, ninja or sniper, I can't remember. So maybe we'll get a 4th turn on it. But yeah, this is when I want to use that, because it's going to work now, and it's going to work when he uses his heal ability in the next form. And then the nice thing is that it's going to expire before he gets the before he does the reversing ability, because he's going to open with the big heal, and then that will make that ability expire. And then I don't need to worry about it getting reversed. So like I said, believe it or not, there's actually, it's like actually very important timings, even if it might look, like nothing. So Ally Protect. I was not really worried about Pythion being black buffs, just because he never targeted Pythion. He would always go for Lydia or Veno. So I just said, I don't really care. It's protecting the people I want. Something else to note is that Nia has strengthened, but as you can see from the icons, it's baby strengthen, right? So I would definitely recommend putting, like the Mithrala strengthen over it. Lydia also has strengthen, but I can also get, the value of the cleanse and the shield here. So I think I'm probably just going to go with the Mithrala one. Okay, so yeah, like I said, that's the timing. That's where I want to use that ability. That's where it was working best for me in my team. So let's keep going. Okay, so that's the ignore defense. You can see by the fact that Nia got really weak, I did kind of, cover some of the damage for Veno. So hopefully that prevented both of us being killed. And then Pythion, again, I don't want to use his black debuffs yet, because I want it to be able to cover the stun of when he's going back into the next form, because on this turn he's going back to his original form. So yep, just doing a 1. Okay, and then something else, the neurotoxin is back up, but I found it very, very awkward to use the neurotoxin in this stage, even though it could be good. because it is a decreased attack, which can help you deal with the ignore defense ability. However, I found that it was just lasting too long. Either the decreased defense or the decreased attack would last long enough to the point of him reversing it into increased attack, and then I was just getting absolutely demolished by the 3 AoE abilities, or what is it, two or three AoE abilities in his next phase. So I was just like, no, we're not using this. This is killing me every time. So again, maybe it'll work different for you. Maybe you can get away with it, but I don't have the kind of heal and sustain. Because believe it or not, I don't actually have any strong healers. Like, Pythion is more of a cleanser. It's a very weak heal. Nia is like, you know, it's a single target heal, or I can heal myself and then get a little bit of heal on everybody, but we actually do not have that much sustain. So that was kind of something I was running into. So I'm just going A1. Here, yeah, you can use that right now when he's going into the other form, because he's not going to mess with your buffs really. So that's fine. And then as you can see, the heal was blocked by the Venomage ability. So, but it's not lingering, so he's not going to reverse it into a continuous heal. So that was just the key timing for me there. Like I said, it looks simple, but I had to try a million things. And then, yeah, Nia was getting weak. She shared the ignore defense ability damage. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to heal myself here. And just, now everybody's healthy. And then we're just kind of going to, you know, do what we were doing the first time, basically. Use A1s. He's used the Rampant Chaos, the AoE stun now. So I can use whatever the heck abilities I want. So we're just going to try to do a repeat of last time, right? So it's fine to use the poison sensitivity. I like doing the decreased attack, decreased defense here, because I found that saved me from all those AoE abilities, remember? I was lucky enough to get a Brimstone. That's also something to keep in mind with Mithrala. If you want to use like a defense ability versus her attack, you know, you might be trying to get a Brimstone proc. So we're in the other form again, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing, right? It worked. I don't have any plans to change it. So I do go with this, you know, big strengthen. I'm preserving the block debuffs with Pythion. Ally protect from Nia. A1. That's the point where I want to use the Venomage. Remember, we've got the 3 turns on the heal reduction, so I want that. Got some poisons out. We've already split the ignore defense ability, so that worked. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use Mithrala defense ability. Heal myself on Nia again. I decided that would be the best option. Like I said, I did not feel like you could use the neurotoxin during this form. So, okay, and then here we go again. This should be the big heal, right? But I've still got heal reduction. So, wabam, no healing occurs. And then the other nice thing about that is he actually helps you, right? Because it was a 2-turn heal reduction, but part of the ability is that he also reduces the duration. So basically, I blocked his heal and then he reduced the duration another turn, reducing it to 0, which is actually helpful to me because I don't want to get it reversed with the next ability. So actually works out, and we actually like that in this instance. And then again, you know, everything's been going fantastically, so I'm not changing my strategy. Like, I'm just, we'll go round 3. It looks like we are getting a little out of whack here. You know, I didn't have the Pythion, so I used the Mithrala, but again, it's okay to improvise. I'll save the Pythion for something else. Both abilities down. It's fine to use the Lydia ability. Decrease defense, decrease attack here again. That saved us a lot of damage on that. Lucky enough to get another Brimstone proc here. Again, I'm not using my buffs. I don't want them to get reversed because we're going back to an Eclipse in a second here. I'm probably just going to heal myself again, I imagine. Oh, I guess because I had used the Strengthen, I reduced Mithrala's cooldown. So that seems pretty smart, honestly. I must have had a good thought about it in the moment. So, but yeah, I think you also could have healed yourself on Nia. But yeah, the big Strengthen. That's a good one. Again, I'm preserving the heal reduction. We'll go back into this. Again, I'm not changing anything. I'm chilling. It's been working. He's getting pretty low. So there's that big Strengthen. I had purposely reduced the cooldown on that so we could get that again. the ally protect. Again, same plan. I want to split the damage between Nia and the person who's going to get targeted. I'm considering because it's scaring me that he's getting weak, and I wasn't sure if the Lydia block revive works. So like you can see, I'm kind of like, I don't know about this, I guess. But yeah, so that's why I'm thinking, because I'm like terrified. I'm like, if I use the poison sensitivity, is it going to be too much? I don't know. Scared. I go for the neurotoxin, he dies. Revive denial actually does work. I don't really ever get a chance to watch a lot of other videos of like other teams and stuff, so obviously I'm not the first person to do that, you know, blocking the revive with Lydia, but yeah, for me, I did not know that that was gonna work. I was a little scared about it. Theoretically it would, because like her passive description is like, cannot be blocked under any circumstance, you know, so it really should work, and it does. So that was nice, because as you know, typically if you kill him in that form, he will respawn with like a 3rd HP, 4th HP or something, and it's a whole thing. But alrighty guys, so that was the run. We can take a look at the builds of the champions. Let's see what we've got here. I don't care what tournament this is. Good lord, multiple tournaments apparently. Okay, so who do we have? Mithrala. Pretty standard build, I think. I haven't looked at it in forever. It's just kind of one of those things where it just is. Oh, do I have Cursed City bonuses? I might have a little bit. Teeny tiny bit. Little bit of ignore defense, little bit of speed. So, Cursed City, standard Mithrala build, high accuracy that's acting as your resistance, tanky, fast but not super fast because you typically want her to go second and cleanse. And yeah, so that was her build. I don't know why I'm clicking on random champions that aren't her. There's Mr. Pythion, Stone Skin build. Also kind of a go second thing for me. Nothing I've thought about too deeply in a long time. That's just the build. It is what it is. Very standard support build. And yeah, I would say like pretty much all of your champs should be like 240s, 250s would be a good speed to be at. Lydia the Deathsiren, like to be completely honest with you, I do not ever use this champion. There's nowhere I use her. I got her very late. I'm not saying she's bad, but just like, you know, where are you guys using her these days? I think like I've chosen her a couple times in Arena Siege or whatever the heck that is, just when I can see that they've gone for like a revive heavy sort of strategy, but other than that, I don't really use her. I did change a couple of items. I think I had her a tad more damagey, but it's just pointless during this particular fight, so I just wanted to beef up because I was kind of making Nia take too much damage with the ally protect because she was so squishy, so it did beef her up a little bit. This accuracy is a bit low, but her debuffs aren't really paramount in this fight. You're probably getting very little value out of the poison sensitivity, because I think the boss has reduced poison damage in the first place, so yeah. If you didn't land your debuffs, not the end of the world, I don't think. Who else was there? We had Nia. I have Provoke because she has AoE A1, so that does help me have a backup Provoke during Hydra. So yeah, during Amius fight, obviously no reason you would need that if that's kind of exclusively what you're doing with her. Cursed City, little bit of my bonuses there. HP, defense. And then again, this is not somebody who's using debuffs in the fight. So like if you had accuracy banner on her accuracy chest or something like that, you should definitely remove that for this fight. Get some more HP out there. And Venomage, I think I passed. Yeah. Okay, so there's my amazing Venomage. I see multiple 5-star items already. Very strong. I do have +2. That's helping me a little bit. Awakening is helping me a little bit, and I did go for cruelty on that. What do we have? 5% chance to counterattack? Yeah, so maybe you'll get some extra poisons. Again, accuracy is a tiny bit low, but I did have the plus 80 Mithrala aura. So there was that. And yeah, I guess let's look at the Cursed City bonuses. There you go. And I guess that was all 5 champions. I keep feeling like there was somebody I overlooked, but there really wasn't. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was at least somewhat helpful. You know, if there was at least one helpful thing in here, then I feel good about that, and I've done my job. As always, if you have any questions or anything, just let me know, and I hope you're all doing great. Thank you again. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.